As technology is evolving, controversial topics are also introduced in the mix. A recent controversy in the technical world introduces a new debate of having limits of screens for children.
There are many pros and cons regarding this topic, and it is oftentimes the subject of intense debate.
The question arises of whether screen time is beneficial or harmful to children.
Dependency on the screen can make kids lethargic. They're less likely to get out or do any outdoor activities and lack the drive to get out and play. The lack of exercise can hurt the child's brain because it is still developing. In turn, this causes obesity rates to go up because the kids aren't getting outside and aren't getting enough exercise. When parents monitor their child's media use, it will ultimately help improve the mood of the child. A study done by a psychology professor at Iowa State University, Douglas Gentile, showed that when parents monitored the social media use of their child, the child experienced improved sleep, better grades, and their body mass index actually decreased. This goes to show how social media use among young children can lead to physical, social, and academic changes. It's the duty of the parents to ensure their child is staying healthy, not only physically but also mentally. Media and electronics have a draining effect if misused or overused. It's important to avoid this.
Screen time can be a benefit to children because it offers them the opportunity to exercise in a safe and engaging environment. In the article, The Benefits of Screen Time for Kids, Look at the Data, Anna Rosenblum-Palmer states that giving your kids screen time does not mean that kids are sitting like lumps on the couch. Many games encourage dancing, bouncing, and swinging, which gets kids to exercise in a way that's enjoyable to them. She also gives an example of when her kids are playing these types of games, they are always jumping around and encouraging each other for each game. This promotes exercise and collaboration between groups of friends. A survey was also done by Wack and Tranleff Dunn that showed regular video gamers are more physically fit, less likely to be obese, more likely to also enjoy the outdoor play, and more socially engaged, more socially well-adjusted, and more civic-minded than are their non-gamer peers. This proves that screen time can promote a healthy body and mind. Parents can use screen time as a method to help boost their child's well-being.
With an overexposure of screens, kids and teens find it difficult to socialize in the real world. With eyes hooked onto the screen, socialization does not come into play due to the comfort or simply sending a text message or phone call with no human interaction whatsoever. A study at Harvard University proved that kids who are exposed to screens at a young age are more likely to develop social anxiety and even depression. They gathered some characteristics from kids who are overexposed from screens, and here are their results. 1. They tend to be less curious of the world. Kids grow up to believe that their questions could simply be answered by Google or Wiki and have no sense of imagination whatsoever. 2. Kids are easily distracted if exposed to screens at a young age. Marcus Young from the University of Berkeley identified that kids who are obsessed with screens are more likely to think about who has texted them, what their friends are doing, or their social status, rather than thinking about what's outside or what are they going to do with their lives.
Researchers from Cardiff University and Oxford University's Internet Institution published a study in the journal Child Development, where they found that restrictions on children's exposure to smartphones and tablets are out of date, and along with data from approximately 20,000 telephone interviews with parents, they came to the conclusion that limiting screen time won't necessarily have a positive impact on children's wellness. Dr. Andrews suggests that when parents and children are actively engaged in exploring the digital world in a social way, it can positively affect a child's psychological well-being. Another study conducted by Swiss scientists Esther Hargati and Drew Singal found that kids whose parents had strict restrictions on screen time actually tended to do worse in a college environment. Without the constant helicoptering from parents, the feeling of freedom was too much for them to handle, and they couldn't force themselves to put down their phones and study. In an electronically adapting world, everyone is more exposed to electronics and media, and it is important to teach children to embrace and utilize this aspect in order to safely and responsibly communicate with friends and access online homework and articles. The internet is almost a new way of life, and reinforcing limits is almost taking away from such an important and critical tool.
It's the job of the parent to make sure electronics are being used positively and in a way that is going to most benefit the child. Electronics can be a powerful tool for children when used properly, but can also be extremely negative if misused.